All right, everyone, time to put on our detective hats, because today we're diving into one of the greatest literary mysteries ever. See, we're not just going to read a story, we're going to solve a case. The strange, strange case of Dr. Henry Jekyll and the monstrous Mr. Edward Hyde. It's a puzzle that honestly gets you thinking about the good and evil inside all of us. So let's get this investigation started. So, who's leading our investigation? Well, it's this guy, Mr. Utterson. He's a pretty straight-laced, respectable London lawyer, but his whole world gets turned upside down when a bunch of bizarre events start connecting his good friend, the brilliant Dr. Jekyll, to this repulsive stranger. Utterson makes a vow, and I love this quote: "If he be Mr. Hyde, I shall be Mr. Seek." He's basically saying, I'm going to be Mr. Seek, and he is absolutely determined to find the truth, no matter how dark it gets. All right, Section 1, the story of the door. So where does our mystery kick off? Well, as you might expect, it's on the foggy, gaslit streets of Victorian London. But here's the thing, it doesn't start with a person, it starts with a place. A really strange, kind of sinister doorway, just stuck on an otherwise perfectly respectable street. I mean, think about it. No bell, no knocker, it's all blistered and stained. It's just this ugly blemish on a world that's supposed to be neat and tidy. So our first piece of evidence, it's pretty horrific. It comes from something Utterson's friend, a guy named Enfield, saw with his own two eyes. In the middle of the night, this small, really detestable-looking man just calmly tramples a little girl and then leaves her screaming on the ground. No remorse at all. Enfield said it wasn't even like watching a man. He called him a damned juggernaut. Just this unstoppable, totally unfeeling force of pure evil. So what happens next? A crowd gathers, right? And everyone, I mean everyone, just instantly hates this guy. You can just feel the loathing. So to avoid a huge scandal that would totally ruin his reputation, this brute, he agrees to pay the girl's family £100. Now, you gotta understand, back in the 1880s, £100 was an absolute fortune. We're talking enough money to buy a small house. That is one steep price to pay just to make a problem go away. And right here, this is where we get the first major twist in the case. The guy disappears behind that creepy door, and he comes back out with £10 in gold and a check for the rest. But here's the kicker, the check isn't his. Whose name is on it? None other than the famous, well-respected Dr. Henry Jekyll. For Mr. Enfield, there's only one possible explanation, right? Blackmail. His good, respectable friend must be getting blackmailed over some dark secret from his past. Okay, Section 2, the search for Mr. Hyde. So you can imagine, when Utterson hears this story, a chill just goes right down his spine. The name Hyde, connected to Dr. Jekyll, it just clicks something awful in his memory. He rushes home, unlocks his safe, and pulls out this document that's been bothering him for years. It's his friend's will. But this isn't just any will. Oh no. It's more like a huge red flag. It says that if Jekyll dies, and get this is the really weird part, if he just disappears for more than 3 months, everything, his entire fortune, goes to this unknown Edward Hyde. For a logical man like Utterson, this just screams one thing. His friend is in deep, deep trouble with someone very dangerous. So Utterson starts, haunting that mysterious door. He's determined to see this Hyde for himself. And when he finally does, well, that's the central puzzle, isn't it? On one hand, you've got his friend Dr. Jekyll, the perfect Victorian gentleman, right? Large, kind, everyone respects him. And then you've got this Mr. Hyde. He's the total opposite. He's small, pale, and just gives off this vibe of pure evil that makes your skin crawl. So the big question is, why on earth would a man like Jekyll protect a creature like that? So Utterson goes straight to Jekyll. He confronts him about the will, about Hyde. And Jekyll, he goes pale, but then he just brushes it all off. He's got this complete confidence, saying, the moment I choose, I can be rid of Mr. Hyde. He basically begs Utterson to just trust him and drop the whole thing. And for a while, against his better judgment, Utterson does. Part 3, the Carew murder case. So for almost a whole year, things get quiet. There's this kind of uneasy peace. Jekyll is back to his old self, he's out and about, and Hyde has completely vanished. But then, one foggy night in October, London is absolutely horrified by a murder of such shocking brutality, and our investigation is about to take a very violent turn. So there's a maid, and she's just looking out her window. She sees it all happen. The victim is Sir Danvers Carew, a really well-known member of Parliament, and he just politely says hello to Mr. Hyde. And then, with absolutely no warning, Hyde just explodes. He beats Carew to death with a heavy cane and then starts trampling the body with what the maid calls ape-like fury. It's just, the violence is completely senseless and absolutely horrifying.
The police find part of the murder weapon at the scene, half of a broken cane. And who do they bring it to? Mr. Utterson, who just so happens to be Carew's lawyer. The second he sees it, his blood runs cold. He knows that cane. He recognizes it instantly. Why? Because it's the one he gave to Henry Jekyll years ago. Suddenly, the link isn't just a suspicion. It's physical, it's undeniable, and it's terrifying.
Oh, and the plot thickens even more. Utterson confronts Jekyll again, and Jekyll shows him a letter, supposedly from Hyde, saying he's escaped for good. Case closed, right? Not so fast. Utterson shows the letter to his clerk, who's a bit of a handwriting expert. The clerk compares Hyde's note to Jekyll's writing, and the conclusion is just stunning. The handwriting is identical. It's just sloped differently. Utterson can only think one thing. Henry Jekyll forges for a murderer. His friend is covering for a killer. All right, Section 4. A friendship destroyed. So, after the murder, Hyde just, poof, he's gone. Vanished, as if he never even existed. And Dr. Jekyll, he seems totally freed. He comes out of his shell, becomes his old, charitable, social self again. And Utterson is just so relieved. But of course, that peace is not going to last.
Then, just as suddenly, Jekyll locks himself away again. He slams the door on the world. Utterson's worried, so he goes to visit their mutual friend, Dr. Lanyon. But what he finds is shocking. Lanyon is a completely changed man. The book says he has his death warrant written legibly upon his face. It's clear he's not sick in the body. He's suffering from some kind of deep psychological terror.
And when Utterson brings up Jekyll's name, Lanyon reacts with just pure horror. He refuses to even hear the name. I wish to see or hear no more of Dr. Jekyll. I regard him as dead. He hints that he saw something that completely shattered his soul. It leaves you wondering, right? What could a man of science possibly have seen that would literally scare him to death? Utterson gets one last absolutely horrifying glimpse of his friend. He and Enfield are walking by the house, and they see Jekyll sitting at a window looking like a prisoner in his own home. They chat for a second, and then Jekyll's face just twists into this expression of abject terror and despair. It's so awful it freezes their blood. The window slams shut, and the two men just walk away, totally pale and speechless. They don't even know what to say. Okay, now for the final act. Section 5, breaking down the door. It all kicks off with a frantic late-night visit. Jekyll's butler, Poole, shows up at Utterson's house, and his face is just white with fear. He tells Utterson he can't take it anymore. He's totally convinced there's been foul play. So Poole just lays it all out. All this terrifying evidence. For a whole week, someone has been locked in Jekyll's lab. He's heard this person weeping, crying out for some kind of drug. He's been sent all over London looking for a pure sample, but nothing is ever right. And then he says he caught one quick look at the person, a small masked figure that scurried away like a rat. And Poole is absolutely certain about one thing, that was not Dr. Jekyll. Poole's conclusion is just terrifying. He says, "That thing was not my master." He truly believes that Jekyll was murdered a week ago, and the killer is now hiding in that lab. And this isn't just some wild guess. This is a conviction coming from a man who has served Jekyll for 20 years. That's what finally convinces Utterson. It's time to stop waiting and do something drastic. So they grab an axe from the lab and a heavy poker from the kitchen. The lawyer and the butler, an unlikely pair, and they march right up to that laboratory door. After a few heavy swings, the lock finally gives way, the door crashes open, and they are finally face to face with whatever truth is waiting inside. But what they find, it doesn't solve the mystery, it just makes it deeper. In the middle of the room is the body of Edward Hyde. He's wearing Jekyll's clothes, and he's dead from suicide. Where is Dr. Jekyll? There's no trace of him, dead or alive. And on the desk, there's a new will leaving everything to Utterson. And next to that, a note from Jekyll and a big sealed confession that promises to explain everything. So think about where we are. Hyde is dead. Jekyll is gone. The end of this one life seems to be just the beginning of the real story. All the answers to our investigation are sitting in those papers, waiting to reveal a truth that's way more shocking than blackmail or even murder. So, what final confession could possibly explain how a respected doctor and a vicious killer came to share the exact same fate? What terrible secret ties them together? And maybe more importantly, what does it tell us about the darkness we all try to hide inside?